Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always. What are we looking at today?
Well, this time we're heading to Italy, specifically Naples.
Ooh, Naples. Love it. One of my favorite Italian cities.
Yeah, mine too. And we're using a newsletter from Love to Visit Italy as our guide.
Sounds like a good one. I'm already seeing some interesting headlines here.
Me too. Just skimming through it got me super excited about Naples. One headline asks, why Naples is called the city that puts the delicious in history.
Okay, yeah. That one definitely caught my eye too. And what about this one? Experiences likely to sell out in 2024.
Yeah, that's the one that really got me worried. We got to get on that.
Absolutely. Don't want to miss out. So let's dive in.
The newsletter starts off by describing Naples as a city of endless surprises, even for locals.
You know, it really is. Most people, when they think of Italy, they think Rome, Florence, Venice. But Naples is just, well, different.
How so?
It's hard to describe. It's this crazy mix of ancient history and vibrant street life, almost a bit chaotic, but in a good way. Every corner you turn, there's something unexpected.
Like what?
Oh, like you might stumble upon a hidden courtyard or a tiny pastry shop you've never seen before. Even just everyday life there is an experience, like a family arguing passionately on the street corner. It's just, well, very theatrical.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Oh, and the food. Can't forget about the food.
Of course not. Neapolitan pizza is legendary.
Right, but honestly, every meal in Naples is an experience. Speaking of experiences, the newsletter mentions some Italian destinations that are likely to sell out next year, like the Amalfi Coast.
Ah, the Amalfi Coast. It looks stunning in pictures. Have you ever been?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Those cliffside villages, the turquoise water. But you know what I recommend?
What's that?
Get off the beaten path. There's this small village called Ravello, high above the coast. Most tourists just drive through, but trust me, spend a day there.
What's so special about it?
Everything. The gardens, the Duomo, the views. Pure magic.
Okay, Ravello is officially on my list.
You won't regret it. But speaking of things you won't want to miss, this newsletter has me a little worried.
Worried? Why?
It looks like a lot of these Italian experiences, tours, cooking classes, you name it, they're booking up fast. Like really fast.
Yeah.
Might need to plan ahead if we want to snag some of these.
Okay, no more procrastinating. That time to get serious.
Right. Let's see what this newsletter suggests. They have a whole section on Naples, starting with an article titled, Naples, a cultural gem where history, beauty, and flavor unite.
That sounds like Naples in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean for someone visiting?
Well, Naples has this layered history, Greeks, Romans, Spanish, French, everyone left their mark. You see it in the architecture, the food, even the language.
So it's like a living museum.
Kind of, but not in a stuffy way. It's alive. You turn a corner, and there's modern art next to a bustling pizzeria. It's all blended together.
I love that mix of old and new.
Exactly. And the newsletter highlights specific spots that showcase this blend. Like, there's an article about Via Caracciolo, a beautiful waterfront promenade.
Let me guess. Stunning views of the bay. Mount Vesuvius in the background.
You got it. But it's not just about the view. The article really emphasizes that this is where Neapolitan life happens. Families strolling, musicians playing, vendors selling everything.
So it's a great place to soak in the energy of the city.
Absolutely. And for those history buffs out there, the Royal Palace of Naples.
Ooh, a palace.
Yeah, it's like the palace. It was home to Bourbon kings and then Savoy kings.
So much history.
Tons. And the article really zooms in on the details. Like you can actually picture yourself in the throne room. Imagine those gatherings.
I love that. I always wondered what life was like back then.
Right. And they have these amazing collections of art and furniture, things that belong to the royal family.
A glimpse into another world.
Exactly. Okay. But now onto something a little more delicious.
The pizza. I was waiting for this. The newsletter mentions a pizza making class in Naples.
I know. And not just any class. It's with secret food tours. So you know it's the real deal.
I do make a mean pizza at home, though. What makes a Neapolitan pizza class so special?
It's not just about the pizza. It's about the whole experience, the tradition, the technique. Like, they use specific types of flour, San Marzano tomatoes, fresh mozzarella di bufala.
Okay, you're making me hungry.
And the ovens, those wood-fired ovens, that's what gives the crust that perfect char and chewiness. And you learn from pizzaiolo who've been doing this forever. It's like a masterclass in pizza making.
Sign me up. And to burn off all those calories, we've got Vesuvius National Park, right?
Of course. You can't go to Naples and not at least see Vesuvius. The article talks about the hiking trails, the views from the crater.
It's incredible to think about the power of that volcano. you know. I mean, it buried Pompeii and Herculaneum.
It's a powerful reminder of nature's force, for sure.
Ah.
But hey, this newsletter doesn't just focus on Naples. There's a section on Turin, too.
Oh, right, Turin. I have to admit, I don't know much about Turin. What's it like?
It's often overlooked, but Turin is really special. It was actually the capital of Italy at one point.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, and you can see that history in the architecture. But it's also where Fiat was born, so it has a bit of an industrial edge, too. Cool mix.
Sounds like it.
Ugh.
And for something completely different, there's a travel quizzer section in the newsletter.
Ah,
Let's quiz our listeners, shall we?
hit me.
Okay, the question is, where is the famous Kylemore Abbey located? Think about it, listeners. No cheating. And while you're pondering that, let me just remind everyone that this newsletter, Love to Visit Italy, is totally free. All this amazing content delivered right to your inbox.
It's such a great resource, and they even have a premium option if you want even more, like those detailed itineraries and travel deals.
All right, thumbs up. Did you figure out where Kylemore Abbey is? The answer is Ireland.
It's a stunning neo-Gothic castle in Connemara. Beautiful area. It's a Benedictine abbey now, but it's got a really interesting history full of romance and even a bit of tragedy. Perfect for a deep dive.
All right, so we've covered Naples, Turin, even hopped over to Ireland with our quiz. Before we wrap up this deep dive, what was your biggest takeaway from the newsletter?
Good question. You know, for me, it's just a reminder that there's always something new to discover, even in a place you think you know, like even in Italy. And this newsletter really helps you find those hidden gems and unique experiences.
It does. And speaking of uncovering hidden gems, I have a question for you. Imagine you could time travel back to Naples during any historical period. When would you go?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. So many options.
I know, right?
The Roman era, to see Pompeii before Vesuvius erupted, that would be incredible. But honestly, I think I'd be most drawn to Naples during the Renaissance.
Ooh, the Renaissance. Why that period?
Naples was just buzzing with creativity back then. Think about it. You could be walking down the street and bump into Caravaggio, or maybe catch an early opera performance. The energy must have been amazing.
I could just picture it. All the artists, the music, the intellectual debates. Though I have to say, all that excitement might be a bit overwhelming for me. Maybe I'd stick to a slightly later period, like the 18th century.
The 18th century would be amazing, too. Naples was under Bourbon rule then. That was a time of incredible architectural and cultural flourishing.
Plus, I could indulge in all those delicious Neapolitan pastries without worrying about fitting into my Renaissance corset.
Huh. Now you're talking.
See, this is what I love about exploring places like Naples. It sparks our imagination and makes us want to learn more.
Absolutely.
Well, a huge thank you to our expert for joining us today and for sharing your insights. I always learn so much from these conversations.
My pleasure. It's always fun to chat about Italy.
And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this virtual journey to Naples. We hope we've inspired you to add it to your travel list. And don't forget to subscribe to the Love to Visit Italy newsletter for even more tips and inspiration. It's free.
Definitely worth checking out.
Until next time, keep exploring.